What's so important that I had to cancel my Friday night date for? What's going on?
Follow me. I got something for you.
Oh, dear, this better be good.
You ain't gonna believe this, girl. Oh, what I miss?
They think he might kill himself.
Who is going to kill himself?
Okay.
No. He's one of the most talented actors of our generation. He would never throw everything away because of a false accusation. Perhaps he's running because of grief. I believe he's innocent.
No one would threaten suicide unless they knew the jig was up. I mean, why else would he be running?
You can't blame a black man for running from a broken system.
On June 17th, 1994, 95 million people tuned into their screens to watch the car chase of the year. The car chase between O.J. Simpson and the LAPD for the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. The chase was slow speed on the 405 highway and lasted 2 hours. The original plan was for him to turn himself in by 11 a.m., but he had other plans and ended up trying to flee. He ended up returning to his Brentwood home and getting arrested after some negotiation, being taken into custody and being booked on 2 counts of first-degree murder. It's been 30 years since the chase, and you may be asking, how did it all start anyway? How did we get to this point in time, and what happened after? Or you're probably not asking that at all, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Yeah?
Just let me get to my house.
Okay, we're gonna do that.
I swear to you, I'll give you I'll give you me. I'll give you my whole body.
Okay.
I just need to get to my house.
Okay.
I live with Nicole.
We're gonna do that. Just throw the gun out the window.
I can't do that.
We're not gonna bother you. We're gonna let you go up there. Just throw it out the window. Please, you're scaring everybody. Toss it, please. Too many people love you, man. Don't give it all up. Don't hurt everybody. You're gonna hurt everybody.
I'm just gonna leave. I'm just
don't.
gonna go with Nicole. That's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm trying to do.
Think about everybody else, all right?
I couldn't do it on a freeway. I couldn't do it in a field. I want to do it at her grave. I want to do it at my house.
You're not gonna do anything. Too many people love you. Your kids, your mother, your friends, AC, everybody. You got the whole world. Don't throw it away. Don't throw it away, man. Come on. O.J.?
Orenthal James Simpson was born on July 9, 1947 in San Francisco, California. Unfortunately, I couldn't find much information about him, such as family life. I can, however, say that O.J. played football in Galileo High School and then attended San Francisco City College to achieve a scholastic record that allowed him to play at the University of Southern California. He had victory after victory, and after some time, he became a football success and played for the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers. It wasn't until a certain point that he became an actor and a sports commentator. He was known and loved by many people, but that would change in a certain matter of time. On June 12, 1994 at 875 South Bundy Drive, Nicole Brown Simpson, aka wife of O.J. Simpson, and Ronald Goldman, aka friend of Nicole and O.J., were found dead outside in the front courtyard of Nicole's condominium in Brentwood.
When I looked at the bodies, this to me was a rage killing. There were numerous apparent slash wounds, stab wounds. They appeared to be all over the bodies. One of the victims had what we call bled out, if you will. The wounds were so severe, and that was Nicole Brown. She was lying on a walkway that angled down towards the street, and the blood was flowing in that direction.
This is a crime of passion, overkill, jealousy, domestic, something of that nature. Rage, yes, absolutely. I mean, this alone shows you bang, 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 bang. Those murders were ghastly. They were awful murders. I mean, Nicole Simpson had a slash of her throat that went all the way down into the vertebral column, 3 millimeters into the vertebral column.
Some people made theories as to why O.J. did this in the first place, if he did it, but the real meaning was never revealed to the public. Some people say it's because of their financial situations, and some people say it's because of a cheating scandal that happened. But we'll never know because the information hasn't become public, or I doubt it will in the future. The next day, O.J. Simpson was notified and returned to Los Angeles, temporarily handcuffed and taken into questioning. 2 days later, on June 17, 1994, before getting arrested, O.J. slipped out of Robert Kardashian's home, which I'm assuming is where he was staying, and got into a white Ford Bronco with A.J. Cowlings and started driving, trying to flee. And now we're all caught up with everything. But what happened after that?
I didn't ask.
Shut your mouth! After he was eventually taken into custody, a 6-day preliminary hearing is with Judge Kaplan Kennedy Powell ruling that there is sufficient evidence for O.J. Simpson to stand trial on counts of first-degree murder. O.J. pleads, and I quote, absolutely not guilty to said charges. The jury consisted of 8 black people, 1 white person, 1 Hispanic, and 2 mixed-race people. There were 8 women and 4 men. Detectives searched the house and found a few pieces of evidence, one of those being 5 blood drops found in between the bodies in an alley behind the house. 4 of those drops were discovered to the left of a set of bloody footprints. Prosecutors say DNA tests on those drops indicated they contain genetic characteristics matching those of O.J. However, in an article from the Los Angeles Times, it states Simpson's defense team has countered 2 possible arguments. The police could have planted the blood at the crime scene, or the collection of analysts of the blood were so sloppy that the results of the subsequent DNA test should not be trusted. This also leads to the question, why would the police plant the evidence in the first place? Well, as we all know, O.J. Simpson is a black man, and in 1992, race riots occurred due to the LAPD's senseless and horrific beating of Rodney King, who was a black man and also an American activist. So the defense was able to use enforcement racism as a reason for O.J.'s charges. Another way they can use racism as a way of reason is because of Detective Mark Furman. During the trial, they played an audio recording of Detective Furman saying over 40 slurs in one recorded sitting. And you may be wondering, why am I mentioning all that? Well, I'm getting there, so hold your horses. What was also found in the house was a glove that had O.J.'s, Nicole's, and Ronald's blood detected on it. Now, in an interview with O.J. by the LAPD, he said he had cut his finger the day after the murder, and as we know, when you cut your finger, blood starts to come out. There was also a knitted hat found at the crime scene that had proven to be O.J.'s hat by the FBI Hair and Fiber Laboratory. This is kind of off topic, but another key detail is that O.J. used to abuse his wife, Nicole Brown, and during the trial, her sister came to the stand and confirmed that it was true. There was also reportedly 9 visits by the police to the residence due to domestic disturbance. But back to the matter at hand. Another glove was found at the O.J. estate, and it was found by Detective Mark Furman. He was the first detective to step into the O.J. estate, and the only reason he was able to step into the estate is because he jumped over the wall. And with this information, the defense was able to suggest that Detective Furman could have planted the glove there and perhaps all other evidence that was found in the estate, tainting with the evidence. I mean, to be fair, considering the fact that he had to jump over the wall to get to the scene of the crime, I would believe that too.
The moment of the century in that courtroom was on June 15th, 1995, which, by the way, was on my birthday, when O.J. was asked to try on the glove that was used the day of the murder. And this is what happened.
And I think so the jury can see, I'll ask Mr. Simpson to stand. That's People 77. Right.
Have a problem placing the glove on his hand.
Sustained. This is People's 164A. Is that the right hand glove? All right.
Then, on October 3rd, 1995, O.J. was found not guilty of the charges after less than 4 hours of deliberations. However, he was back in court again in 2008 for assault, kidnapping, and armed robbery, and was found guilty and sentenced to 33 years in prison. However, 9 years in his sentence, he was allowed parole.
Now for my personal thoughts. Do I think he committed the crime? Yeah. Here's why. In 2006, he published a book called If I Did It, in which the sum of the book was basically, I didn't do it. However, if I did it, here's why and how I would do it. And in my opinion, if you have to write a novel talking about if you committed a murder and how you would commit said murder, then I would personally think that you did it. Another reason why I think he did it, despite what the court says, is because the prosecution didn't want him to try on the gloves because of the fact that they've been soaking in blood and have been frozen and unfrozen for the past several weeks, and that will cause leather to eventually shrink. Even the president of the glove company testified on September 12, 1995, confirming that the gloves did in fact shrink. So they could have gotten away with it because the gloves did shrink. But if the gloves never shrunk and stayed the same, he could have gotten sent to jail a long time ago. So yes, I still think he's guilty regardless of what the jury and the court says. I'm glad he still went to jail anyway, and I'm glad to this day he still owes and is still paying the Goldmans money because he was found liable and owes them millions of dollars.